Tom behind Harry and Bert took an extra big... He couldn't see any people or engines. Percy. But as Percy came out of the tunnel, the difficult bend came nearer and nearer. Our wagons didn't. To and fro, but they couldn't see Percy anywhere. "What's to become of me?" Percy whispered, but there was no one around to hear. Percy looked. Winter was coming to the island of Sodor. He had stopped to take on water, and as he puffed towards the station, he saw Harold the helicopter talking to Toby. He saw Percy waiting in the station. His trucks were full of roof tiles. Toby was having a wonderful day. Fish trucks were too heavy. Every time she came across work. Then Emily came across a fallen. The air grew hotter and smoke grew thicker. Thomas thought Suddenly, Percy and Henry had to stay at the smelter's yard, see the storm damage all around him. The coaling plant was very busy. The plant manager was surprised. At last, the diesels and steamies could do their favourite job. See the goods train at a dead end. A barrier on the track. A light flickered off and on and off. Then he saw a flickering light. On and off and on. Then he saw it. It wasn't Proteus's lamp. The trucks had run into Mavis, who was waiting on the track. Thomas saw a diesel he had never seen before. Just an old line branching off into the trees and bushes. Soon, he saw a light at the end of the tunnel. Started to clear. Thomas saw that the eyes weren't eyes at all. Suddenly, the mist rolled away and the sun came out. Thomas saw that the cliffs were beautiful. Towards Rusty, who's a puff Skarloey. It was late when Skarloey arrived at the village station. The village. But he didn't find his trucks. Fast that he slid. He rolled up behind, but the breeze blew and the branches creaked. Could see that the tree wasn't spooky at all. The breeze still blew. The haunted forest was actually... cried Thomas. Knapfoot. He rolled his tender under the cushion up ahead. Thomas saw the new home Percy had delivered for Farmer McColl's doves. Edward was approaching a signal. Suddenly, there was a thundering and a whooshing. He looked down the track to the level crossing. There was Bertie. Then he saw it. The fat control or down. Trees hung over the track, and the bushes were overgrown. He was coupled up to Gordon's special coaches. Long time it was clouds not be in the sky. When they saw Whiff, they all laughed too. Tooted Thomas. Thomas couldn't see any lights. Thomas puffed closer and closer, but it wasn't a spaceship. Thomas puffed closer and closer. Henry huffed along with swings and a seesaw. Before Thomas knew it, he was puffing very fast. Thomas was now going too far. So when Toby passed with the choir, practice. Rosie was waiting at the... But Percy was very good at hiding. Bumpy, dusty and dirty, and the branch... Even when he saw cows on the track, animals, and the smell of wildflowers fills the air. Percy came to the junction again. "There's an emergency," he shouted. Sprayed the trees and then the bushes. She even sprayed a policeman. Up the track, Sir Handel was at the water tower. And then he...
It's a winner when it turns, the signals turn to red.
They scrunched and scratched as Thomas chuffed through them. Suddenly, he crashed through a thick wall of bushes. Trees and rocks were everywhere.
saw a thick hedge across the track. She had very thick. It made it hard for James to see ahead. Finally, Thomas saw the Sodor River Bridge ahead. To cross the tracks, Skarloey was nowhere to be found.
Go fuck yourself.